All right, welcome back to the Lady Dicks podcast. I am your host, Tay, and with me are my co-hosts, Nikki and Andrea. Today we are going on an adventure on the high seas to dictect the spooky story. So I don't know if I would really call it a spooky story.
No, I don't think it's spooky.
But like crime-ridden story of the 16th century lady pirate Grace O'Malley, who was a pirate queen.
And Tay loves her pirates.
I do love my pirates.
Who doesn't love pirates, really?
This is a true story.
Hey guys, Nikki here. We're glad you didn't ghost us. We are back this week, and as Tay mentioned, ready to tackle on some pirates or a lady pirate. We are a comedy podcast who cover paranormal, crime, and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't think that goes together, we will kindly ask you to press the pause button and head to a podcast where they take their shit a little more seriously, because we do not.
No.
Hundo P. Hey guys, Andrea here. We also don't recommend this podcast for little ears. And by little ears, we mean children, not adults with small ears. You guys are cool with us.
I feel like we need to keep specifying that so no one feels insulted when we say little ears.
Yeah. Children.
No kids. The Lady Dicks podcast is an independent podcast, meaning it's fully funded by yours truly's bank account. Yay! Not only that, but we research, write, edit, publish, and promote the podcast ourselves. The reason why we tell you this is because we are not perfect. There's going to be things that you don't like. We might have off sound one day. Our research might be not that solid because I did it at 4 a.m. when I didn't have any sleep. Or I did have a lot of sleep and I just like to work at 4 a.m.
And she might have been a little delirious at the time.
The funnier the podcast that's written, the more delirious I am. So if you don't like the podcast, please don't leave a 1-star review. That's not helpful to anyone. We might make fun of you. We probably will make fun of you, which is not going to be helpful to your ego, although I don't suspect you'll be listening to it after you've given us a 1-star review. However, as an independent podcast, it's kind of hard to get over 1-star reviews. So as far as raising the ratings go, so if you have a suggestion,
constructive criticism.
Yeah, I'm like, we just talked about this. If you have constructive criticism, we would love to hear it. Please send it via email directly to me at stories@ladydicks.com, and I will be happy to do that. And you can also please send me your story ideas. I think we have two this year that someone sent in that we will cover
later on.
I just haven't had the time to open the website page and look at them. They both sound really cool though. Although one's like a little demony, so
ooh, that could be interesting.
It could be. Although that Black-Eyed Children episode, I had issues sleeping after that for a bit.
Well, we need to do at least one of those a year apparently, so
I'm down for that.
Yeah,
we just have to get prepared. There's also like a weird demon bridge somewhere that would be interesting.
Oh yes, it would.
That's not the one in Japan, is it?
No, it's here. You're talking about the Japanese suicide bridge?
Yeah.
No, that's totally different.
There's a demon bridge in Calgary?
No. In Canada? I meant here. No, I meant here by North America.
Okay,
it's in the States somewhere.
Fair.
It's like it has like kind of a troll demon-y bridge idea behind it. Anyway, we'll do something very scary, which might be the demon-related bar that has been suggested. That will be covered, but we'll do the demon bridge or something. We need to have at least like one truly scary episode. I don't know if we had any last season that I would consider like truly scary, but the first season there was like that Black-Eyed Children episode was terrifying.
There was also that like murder house that we did at the beginning.
The murder house, like the Linden?
Lizzie Borden?
No, it was after that. It might have been.
Murder house. You're not talking about.
We did a couple murder
bacon
houses.
axe murder.
Yes.
Are you talking about
the
Vasilla?
bacon.
The Vasilla axe murders. Villisca?
Villisca.
That was one of my favorite episodes, and it's still so funny to listen to. And I think the title has been changed to the Bacon Axe Murder, like on our podcast episode, because I went back and changed all the titles to be cheeky, lame titles because I thought they were funny. Because I'm that person.
That works.
Well, and sometimes at 4 a.m, something that seems funny is not always as funny.
Changed all the
after.
I changed all of the episode descriptions to be more comical.
No, and that's awesome.
I changed the title to be more comical too. So I think it's called the Bacon Axe Murder House or something, or the whatever it is in Villisca.
It works.
Anyway,
I like it.
If you're
I love bacon. I don't love axe murder, but
if you're listening and you're thinking, I've never heard that episode, just look for the bacon episode.
Yeah.
You will find it.
Season 1.
Yeah, during season 1. Cool. That was me talking.
Yes. And if you want to support our little podcast, here are a few things you can do. You can go give us a 5-star rating and tell us who your favorite Hollywood Chris is.
The only acceptable answer is Chris Pine. Just want to remind people that.
Disagree, Pratt.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Every episode,
or if you want to throw Chris Evans a little love, I will accept that.
Or if you think someone else just needs some love, let us know.
That's true.
Share the podcast with someone you think who would love it. Spouse, significant other, coworker, whoever,
grandma,
whoever you want. Yeah. And sign yourself up on our mailing list at theladydicks.com. If you have a little cash you want to throw our way so that it's not completely funded by Tay's bank account.
Yay me.
You can head to our merch shop and you can get yourself a shirt or a mug and be part of our #Dick Squad.
True story.
Or if you have too many shirts and mugs, you can, and have, an extra $20 or $1 burning a hole in your pocket, you can send us a donation on PayPal at stories@theladydicks.com.
Yay. So most of the information in this, except for this first part that I'm going to talk about,
which is kind of funny,
tell you the source of it in a second, but most of this information on Grace O'Malley, besides a few internet sources that I've had just to find more compelling and extra information, came from a book called Pirate Women, the Princesses, Prostitutes, and Privateers Who Ruled the Seven Seas. And why didn't I write down the name of the person who wrote it? Laura, I think Duncombe is her name. But
that's
let me
pretty
tell
good for you to just pull that off the top of your
Sook
head.
Duncombe is her name. I have read the book several times. I own it. I recommend it. I know, it's so surprising that I read stuff.
No, I'm just, being sarcastic because you did just pull that name out of your head.
I did pull that name out of my head. But it's a book that I have on my shelf. If you want to read this book yourself, we have links on... We have a section on the Lady Dicks website that has recommended reading links. And then we also on the Spooky Traveler have some book reviews that I'm putting up there. So you can take it for your spooky travel reading if you're not traveling to a particularly spooky place. Still want to bring some ghosts with you or other stuff like that. So, so it's a great book. It was written by, I think she was a PhD when she wrote it. And it's, I think, the only book that exists that has factual information on women pirates. She just kind of went out there and gathered all of the information that exists out there and then put it into one book. And she tells you what she absolutely knows and what might or might not be true. Great read. It's got a cool purple cover and it's really fancy looking. And everything else, you can get it for $20. So realistically, why wouldn't you get it? I would recommend it. I bought it as soon as I happened across it, and I bought it literally the week that it came out. So yay me!
And how many years ago was that?
What's the year on this book? 2017. 2017. April 1st, 2017.
Not that long ago.
No,
it's not
2 years
that
ago.
old.
And it's really well written, and it also talks about it goes all the way back to Greek
pirates.
Well,
during
Greek warriors, we'll call them.
Okay.
It also covers some Viking, women Vikings. Although note in that time there wasn't a ton of record on whatever. And then it goes into the more what you would consider to be a pirate. So Grace O'Malley and Bonnie. I also heard a rumor, and I don't know how true this is, but the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie that's coming out, they are doing another one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Well, it won't have Captain Jack Sparrow or anything like that. I believe that the story is based off of Grace O'Malley, although I could be wrong.
Oh.
Cool.
So anyways, you heard it
Will
here
it
first.
have Keira Knightley in it?
I don't think it's going to have any of the original cast. I think it's an entirely new cast based on
New
a
series type thing.
woman.
Oh, yeah. I was just kind of joking.
Yeah.
But I did love her in the original Pirates of the Caribbean.
She was okay. Yeah, she was good. So before we dig into the story of Grace O'Malley, I thought it would be fun to have a slight chat about the Pirate Code. And yes, it did exist. So the Pirate Code is essentially a code of conduct that governed pirates, but each crew appeared to have kind of drawn up its own code, or maybe code, or perhaps modified an overarching version of one, because there are consistencies throughout them. Regardless, there are a few common things that exist within the codes, and so we're going to talk about that, or I'm essentially going to tell you the rules you have to follow on a pirate ship. We'll say a caveat here that this information comes from an article by Mark Mancini published on Men of Law. So if it's inaccurate, you can blame Mark. I don't know. Sorry, Mark. Okay, so number 1, pirates could vote, and everyone had an equal stake in any goods acquired via their pirate-related activities.
So it was a democracy.
It was a democracy. So each pirate, according to the code, or at least the code that they know about, had, quote, equal title to the fresh provisions or strong liquors at any time seized, and shall use them at pleasure unless a scarcity makes it necessary for the common good that a retrenchment may be voted. So everyone was equal. I'm going to say this with a caveat. Everyone had an equal share, but it was based off their position. So the captain is going to get more than like the deck mopper, which I'm saying is an official pirate code or official pirate job title.
Now,
deckhand is probably the accurate.
What I want to know is, was there opportunity for the deckhand to work his way up and get promoted?
There was, because a lot of the pirates that you will see have moved up. Even like last year, we did release the episode on Blackbeard, who moved up in his like little pirate organization. Okay, so the second rule is, because everyone has an equal share, it is highly advisable that you don't steal from other pirates, because the consequences are less than desirable.
Like losing a hand?
The quote says, but if they defraud the company to the value of even $1 in plate, jewels, or money, they shall be marooned. If any man robbed another, he shall have his nose and ears slit and be put ashore while he shall be sure to encounter the hardship. So basically, they're going to take off your ear. They're going to do something with your nose. Or maybe they're just going to cut your ear and nose. I don't know. It's a little unclear. I'm sure there's some like legal...
Slit, I think like a slice or something. Like
yeah.
Cut.
It doesn't sound pleasant, regardless.
No, and then they're going to drop you on an island by yourself. So that would suck.
So you're fucked.
So don't steal from pirates. When you guys rob someone, you're all going to get a little cut, so it's going to be fine. Number 3, no gambling is allowed on the ship. Number 4, there is an 8 p.m. curfew. It says, quote, the lights and candles shall be put out at 8 at night, and if any of the crew desire to drink after that hour, they shall sit upon the open deck without lights. So basically, you can stay up after 8 p.m. You're just not allowed to turn any lights on. So it's a lights out type party, guys. Number 5, all pirates are expected to be battle ready, which is essentially at any point in time. And battle ready means like rummaging through other people's shit ready and attacking other ships. So just
attacking other ships,
I said.
I heard shit too.
Okay, well, whatever. Number 6, no ladies or young boys are allowed on a pirate ship. The quote says, no boy or woman shall be allowed amongst them. If any man shall be found seducing one of the latter sex and carrier to sea in disguise, he shall suffer death. So that is worse than stealing. Smuggling a
crazy.
a chick over like onto your ship is way worse than.
Well, having
The
a
latter-
woman on board is
the
bad
latter
luck or
sex.
something, right?
no, it's at the other sex.
It said the latter.
Oh, you are right.
Sex.
It did say the latter sex. Didn't even hear
Actually.
that. Okay, so number 7, deserting the ship is a no-go. The quote says, "He that shall desert the ship or his quarters in the time of battle shall be punished by death or marooning." So not cool. Number 8, disputes must be settled on shore, not on the boat. So no one shall strike another on board the ship, but every man's quarrel shall be ended on shore by sword or pistol in this matter.
Fight to the death.
Yeah. At the word of the command from the quartermaster, each man being previously placed back to back shall turn and fire immediately. If any man do not, the quartermaster shall knock the piece out of his hand. If both miss their aim, they shall take to their cutlasses, and he that draws the first blood shall be declared the victor. Yay. So that is a good old-fashioned duel in the most dually form. Number 9, if you get hurt on the job, you get paid. Specifically, you need to be crippled or lose a limb.
So it's basically AD&D insurance, accidental death and dismemberment.
Yeah, it's like they have like workplace standards. The quote says, "Every man who shall become a cripple or lose a limb in the service shall have 800 pieces of 8 from the common stock, and for lesser hurts proportionally." So even if you're not crippled or lose a limb, you will still get some sort of like workers' comp
Yeah.
on said pirate ship. So I guess that's beneficial. I guess it's a high-risk job, so that's kind of a good thing to think about. Having a higher rank means getting more plunder. The captain and quartermaster each got 2 shares. The master gunner and boatswain got 1.5, and other officers got 1.25. So I don't know if anyone just gets 1 share. That question is not answered. And number 11, finally, the musicians shall have rest on the Sabbath day only by right, and on all other days by favor only. So you're not going to hear any music on Sundays, and if the captain wants to give them the day off during the week, you might also not have music on that day. So those are some basic rules you're going to want to keep in mind
While pirating.
Yeah.
So I believe that this name is pronounced Grania
Yes,
O'Malley,
I think so.
aka Grace, was born sometime around 1530, likely in County Mayo in mainland Ireland. Dundra and Margaret O'Malley.
To them. Sorry.
That's I was
don't
going to
know why
say,
there's a
are
word
those
missing
her
there.
parents? Yeah. So to Dundra and Margaret O'Malley. But while she was born in County Mayo, she grew up on Claren Island, Clew Bay. The O'Malleys were a wealthy fishing family, seafaring chieftains, which simply means leaders or clan, as it may, who occasionally did some raiding and unauthorized taxing on the side. That sounds like pirating to me. She also might have had a brother, but that's unconfirmed. In the 16th century, Ireland was ruled by warring clans.
Warring.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
Did I spell it wrong?
Yeah, it should,
Yeah, it should be 2 R's.
Okay. In the 16th century, Ireland was ruled by warring clans instead of a centralized government like we know today. And this lack of formal organization allowed Grace to follow in her father's footsteps. She was known as a particularly brave and resilient woman, and 3 different legends were shared to help demonstrate that. According to the first legend, there were eagles terrorizing animals on O'Malley land. Apparently not cool with this, Grace attacked and killed the eagles despite her young age, or the fact that she was barely taller than them. Naturally,
Unlikely.
yeah.
I mean, they could be just huge eagles.
Well, eagles like eat puppies. So
Yeah. A child that size.
Just kidding.
and they're vicious birds of prey.
You're right. You are correct.
And they're also now
Should have to be like a
endangered, Grace
demon
O'Malley.
child.
Are they? Well, they weren't endangered in her time.
No.
I know, I said they are now. Anyway,
It's not like they can retroactively be like, we're going to fine you, dead lady, for killing eagles.
Naturally, Grace won and came out on top, save for an eagle claw scar on her forehead that she would have the rest of her life. The second legend said that because girls weren't allowed to join her father's crew, Grace cut her hair and dressed as a boy to get a spot.
I suspect this is bullshit.
Well, there were also no young boys allowed.
But this
also,
is her father.
It's her dad's crew.
Yeah.
Like maybe her creepy, weird Uncle Jake, who runs a crew and she never sees him, maybe sneaks onto his. But her dad's, I don't think so.
Yeah. Though it's highly unlikely, considering we're sure her father would have known who she was.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
She was known as Granville.
Yeah, we're saying though it's highly unlikely.
No,
she
no.
was known.
I know. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, Granville maybe.
Yeah. Seems legit.
That's what it looks like. She was known as Granville, which means bald Grace. Finally, the third lesson or legend says
God, guys. Sorry.
that she was a member of her father's crew when they were attacked by the English.
That's why we need to hire an editor of my words and also of the podcast.
She disobeyed her father's instructions to go below deck and saved him from being killed by attacking and beating the man who was attacking him. Regardless of whether these were true, she was a fierce seafaring woman. At 16 years, Grace made a politically advantageous marriage to Donal O'Flaherty. Donal, a.k.a. Donal of the Battles, was a chieftain, community leader, and spent a ton of time pillaging and plundering on the sea. The two had...
Chicka, wow, wow. Bad boy alert.
What? A bad boy and a pirate?
Well, I feel like a pirate is a bad boy.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
but
pending he's male. But whatever.
the two had 2 sons and a daughter. But while Donal's people were starving, he was waging battles and wasting resources. His people turned to Grace in desperation, and in his absence, she took over the leadership, though it wasn't technically legal at the time because she was a woman. Donal made a fateful choice to lead his men into battle for a place known as Cox Castle.
I was reading over this last night and I was like, how much you want to bet all 3 of us are going to laugh at that name? Because I giggled to myself.
I didn't
in
laugh,
bed.
though, until the 2 of you laughed.
What's the one that we
You were
are always
smiling, though.
laughing
You were ready to crack.
Oh, erected.
Yes.
That's the
You
one
gave that to me in my first episode, and I got through it, and I had the remainders of bronchitis. I got through it, and then you
we
guys
couldn't
started
do it.
laughing,
Just busting a gut.
and then I couldn't get through it again.
Yeah.
So
That's okay.
Cox Castle was a desirable island fortress to be based out of.
Cox Castle is desirable. Just want to throw that out there.
I bet it is. To the right person.
Like Virginia Hill.
I suppose it depends on which cock.
No. I don't think she discriminated too much by the sounds
And
of things.
size.
Well, Virginia
And-
Hill, but I feel like Grace O'Malley has like some
Some
serious standards.
And nor is she trying to.
I'm sure that Cox Castle is large, though. Anyway,
Anyways.
Okay. So where was I? But he was killed mid-battle and Grace took over.
we were
yes.
getting over Cox
Cox
Castle. Yes, you're right.
And
though.
being desirable.
It was a desirable island fortress to be based out of. But he, being Donal, was killed mid-battle and Grace took over. She won and they renamed it Hen's Castle for her bravery and ferocity. But despite Grace's clear leadership skills, she was a woman, so Donal's cousin was chosen to replace her.
Ooh.
Or replace him. Replace Donal. Got it.
Well, no, she was like the interim leader for like a little bit.
Yeah, and
both
then
made sense.
and then Donal's cousin was chosen to replace him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, naturally Grace said, "Fuck that. I ain't no hopeless widow," and she pieced it to Clare Island with a group of loyal O'Flaherty dudes.
Get all the dudes, you know?
She took all the dudes to Cox Castle.
Well, it should have been Hen's Castle, but I have a
Hen's-
feeling they changed it
Hen's
back.
Castle.
True story.
Yeah.
Eventually, she grew a crew of 200 and commanded some of her father's ships. And with unmatched knowledge of the Irish coast, she did well fast. She had galley ships with oars and sails, the like of Irish Berlim, which are like Viking longships. They were highly maneuverable and fast.
She then decided on a strategic marriage to Richard Burke. There we go.
Chieftain.
Yeah.
Oh.
A Connacht.
Cannot.
Fuck. Hate these words. Anyways, a chieftain in line for the role of Mac William ship, which was like a big leader in the area. Burke had a large fleet and a castle known as Rockfleet, which would serve well to protect Grace's fleet. Her plan was to marry him, quote, for 1 year certain, because according to the civil code at the time, Brehon law?
Brehon? I don't know.
Some law. During the first year of marriage, either party can simply opt out of the marriage and it ends up being annulled. So she married him, gained control of his castle, sent him out and locked the door behind him. See ya. Once he returned, she shouted from inside the walls, quote, Richard Burke, I dismiss you, and voila, unmarried.
Nice.
However,
If only it was
Done.
that easy.
Yeah. However, the annulment didn't last. The two of them continued to present as married, pirate together, and even have a son named Tibbet Neelong, aka Theobald, or, quote, Toby of the Ships. Grace was made to be Lady Burke, and Richard was knighted in 1576, when Grace decided to pledge her services to the Englishman Sir Henry Sidney.
Mm-hmm.
While there's no indication as to why she did this, considering she loved stealing from them, but she told Sidney that her husband would, quote, essentially do whatever she wanted. In response, Sidney proclaimed her a, quote, notorious woman in all the coast of Ireland. It was actually around this time that she gave birth to Theobald. And another legend of Grace's bravery was born. Apparently, she was sailing with Richard and her crew the day after she had given birth when they were attacked. Apparently, the dudes couldn't handle it, so they rushed down to summon her. In response, Grace cursed them with, quote, may you be 7 times worth in 1 year, seeing you can't manage for even 1 day without me, before joining the battle. Scaring the other side with her untamed look and winning the attack. After that, she returned back to her cabin and put a do not disturb sign on the door. Grace was captured for the first time in 1577 by the Earl of Desmond,
Desmond, yeah.
Yeah.
while raiding his land, his land, not island. Jesus Christ. I'm making shit up now. She was sent to Dublin Castle and jailed for 18 months to, quote, quell her husband's rebellion. Once she was released, the two happily returned to pirating, naturally, because that's what they do. In 1583, the reigning monarch at the time, Queen Elizabeth, sent a new governor to Ireland, Richard Bingham. Around this time, her hubby died. Bingham was described as, quote, cunning and ruthless. He hated Grace, and the feeling was mutual. Grace tried 3 plots against him before she was captured. She was set to be hanged, but was reluctantly let go when she was traded for a number of captives by a Mayo chieftain. But in retaliation, Bingham took her castle, horses, and kidnapped her sons, Owen from her first marriage,
What a fucking
and
dick.
Theobald. But when Owen died in custody, Owen died in custody, and it was suspected that he was murdered, which would be
Shocking.
too shocking. All right, so I lied to you in the first paragraph. When Queen Elizabeth sent Richard Bingham to Ireland as the governor, it was actually 1593, not 1583, and that 1593 is also when he kidnapped her 2 sons. So also in 1593, Grace went over Bingham's head and sent a letter directly to Queen Elizabeth, pledging her services and devote her life to the crown if she would release her son, which is Theobald, because Owen was, possibly murdered. He died. While waiting for the Queen's response, Bingham charged Theobald with treason. Grace knew if he was tried, he would be hanged. So she took action, sailing to England herself, which was a bold move considering the fact that she didn't know if she'd be safe or able to return. In the fall of 1593, the Queen granted Grace an audience, and while no one knows exactly what went on, Grace was allowed to return and her son set free. Bingham was not pleased with this outcome. Grace resumed to pirating, with the Queen's blessing, mind you. And to make Bingham even more pissed, the Queen instructed him to set up Grace with a pension. He disobeyed and was made to return to England in disgrace. Wonder what she did to get set up with a pension and that's crazy.
Bribed someone, extorted someone,
extorted the Queen,
made a friend. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can
girls
do it.
Relating to
True. They were like
men.
Fuck men.
Yeah.
Here's some money.
We got a girl power.
Here's some money. Girl power.
Yeah. Grace and her son returned to the good old pirating life, even possibly attacking English ships, but who's to say for sure? But they probably did. Let's be real.
I'm sure that she probably did.
But when Theobald was passed over for Mac William's ship, she instructed him to sail for England instead. He went on to fight in the Battle of Kinsale during the 9 Years' War, helping to ensure England conquered Ireland. In 1603, he was knighted and would eventually go on to become Viscount Mayo. Grace ended up passing away in 1603 at home in Rockfleet Castle from old age. Coincidentally, Queen Elizabeth died that same year as well. Grace is said to be buried on Clare Island, quote, in an abbey beside her beloved sea. That's actually kind of a nice story. She wasn't murdered or anything.
Yeah, she has a nice ending.
Hard life.
And she has kind of a cool story, but I do want to premise this on the fact that she was a pirate, so she didn't kill people. So just as
there's no murdery.
There's
murdery. There's no murder.
As we romanticize the pirate life, just remember they do murder people and steal from them.
What?
Yeah. I know. It's so surprising. Cool. So our destination for the Spooky Traveler today isn't something haunted, nor is it a museum. It is a theme park, which we all know that I love. However, this is more like a theme park geared towards kids. Pirate Adventure Park at the Westport House, which genuinely looks like a grand old time pending you have kids and are in Mayo, Ireland, is what we're going to be talking about. While there are a number of things to do at Westport House, the Pirate Adventure Park was actually created in honor of Grace O'Malley, which is why we're talking about it today. I didn't just randomly pick a pirate theme park because I probably would have picked something else. Something that I wanted to go to. At Pirate Adventure Park, you'll find a mini pirate ship, log rides, a mini golf, a Ferris wheel, and a bunch of other fun kid-sized activities. I use the term fun loosely because I don't like children.
Those of us who don't have children are probably...
Yeah. I mean, it might not be fun for us to go as girls, just to hang out. No. But if we had kids, God forbid...
God help us.
Then we might like it. According to their website, the Pirate Adventure Park is open when the kids are out of school, midterm breaks, bank holidays, weekends in June, and daily in July and August. So you can check their website for opening times to make sure that you don't show up when they have the doors closed, because that would suck. So you drove your kids all the way there, and then you were like, when are we going to be there? And you're like, shut up, Molly. Stop talking to me. Anyway, it was a good time. It has a 4 out of 5 on TripAdvisor, and everyone seemed to love it except for this one dude or dudette, I actually don't know, who said, have lived in Westport for 30 years, and my own children had a great time in Westport House. However, I visited recently and was shocked at the condition of the facilities. It is an accident waiting to happen. The fence surrounding the swing boat has sea lions nailed to it, and there are rusty nails and screws sticking out of the fence right at a small child's face/eye level, depending on their height. It's very specific. At the Cannonball Run, on the path up to it, there are nettles sticking out of the fence again at a small child's face on level. Okay. The
At
lake,
a small child's face level.
oh yeah, okay, cool. I added something there. The lake needs cleaning. It is a lake. I guess if it's a man-made lake, as the pedal swans can only go out a very small distance, and there are so many of them, they have very little room to maneuver without being in someone's way. In years gone by, you could pedal around the whole lake. I could go in and on. I could go on and on, but the place is a litigation waiting to happen.
I kind of feel like if you could pedal around the whole lake, that's litigation waiting to happen. And there's a reason
Yeah, I kind of also agree with
why
that.
they made it so that you could only pedal in a certain part.
And it very badly needs a health and safety audit. My grandson did enjoy his day there, as the little train was of great interest to him, and the driver was very good with all the children and made a great experience for them. That's nice. This should be a great facility, but needs a serious upgrade up to modern safety standards. Cool. Don't let this review dissuade you, though, because literally everyone else liked it. So if you don't have kids but are in town, you can check out the historic
In tow.
house. Yep. Screw that. Beep, 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 beep. If you don't have kids in tow but are in the area, check out the historic house. They have a brand new audio tour that is unfortunately not narrated by the Lady Dicks. Hashtag sponsor us. But we are sure it's acceptable. You could also experience Victorian afternoon tea and pop-up Georgian dining experience if you're looking for
Ooh,
kind of
sounds so
something more
fancy.
foodie. I'm into like that fancy shit.
We can also do that here at the Palliser Hotel.
Yeah, no one cares.
Which we don't.
Fuck that.
No, but one day we will.
Maybe.
Or actually, we'll
If we have
really
money.
do
I
it
feel
classy
like
and go to the
the-
Banff Springs.
I feel
Oh,
like, yeah, I
yes.
go somewhere else to be classy, not like here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at the Lady Dicks.
I love how we didn't really even end it.
Yeah.
Like,
The end. That's
The
the end of
end.
the story, and that's
That's
your
okay.
traveling
I
destination.
feel like they got
Ta-da!
I feel like they understood that.
Yeah.
You can find more information about each of us at theladydicks.com. We need to update our bios, so don't actually do that.
We do actually have to update our bios, but they are the most visited things on our webpage. just as
Which
an
means we
FYI.
really need to update
Which
them.
means we need shit in there.
Yeah.
We've also got links to projects we're working on and the like if you want to check those out.
Move on from that.
Moving along.
So next week we'll be back with another spooktastic episode. I don't know what it will be.
But maybe actually kind of spooky, since this one wasn't really spooky.
This one
it
wasn't
was just
spooky.
fun.
This one was just like a fun
Pirating.
female history pirate,
Yeah.
whatever thing. So
Girl power.
I don't know what'll play after this episode at this time because I mix things
And
up
like we
whenever I
say
feel
every
like
week,
it.
TBD.
Yeah, TBD, but the next episode should be spooky because this one 100% wasn't. So maybe you'll get your pants scared off. Okay, so we will see you next week.
In the meantime, try not to ghost anyone.
Ba-ba-bum.